News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
A fiery crash near Evero has taken the life of a motorcyclist. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It is Monday, March 23rd, 2015. Sky is cloudy. It's mild, 38 degrees in Missoula right now. And our newscast is sponsored by Boot Barn, where they're celebrating everyday heroes who work hard for their families with big savings on work apparel and boots in South Crossing. This morning's top story, a fiery head-on crash between a motorcycle and a pickup truck Sunday evening closed Highway 93 North for nearly 3 hours near the Grey Wolf Peak Casino and resulted in the death of the motorcyclist. Montana Highway Patrol Trooper Nicholas Navarro was the lead investigator at the scene and said the accident occurred about 6:15.
The pickup was northbound, motorcycle was southbound. Motorcycle crossed the double yellow line and impacted the front of the pickup head on. After impact, the pickup did catch fire. Operator of the motorcycle is the one that was fatal due to the injuries sustained in the crash.
Navarro said the victim was a male approximately 30 years of age. The driver of the pickup was taken to a hospital but did not receive serious injuries. It's not known if alcohol was involved and the crash is still under investigation. A bicyclist, was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries after he was struck by a minivan Friday just south of Missoula. The accident occurred around 5 p.m. on Highway 93 South between Blue Mountain Road and Hayes Creek Road. Traffic was backed up as a result of the accident. Highway Patrol Trooper Andrew Novak said an ambulance with lights and sirens was traveling south responding to an emergency. The driver of the van was trying to yield to the ambulance and didn't see the cyclist traveling alongside a box truck. Despite the severe injuries, Novak said the 42-year-old Lolo man was alert and oriented when he was at the hospital. The funeral of Cole Schwartz took place Friday afternoon at Washington Grizzly Stadium. Hundreds of people gathered in attendance to say farewell, including family, co-workers, teammates, and close friends. A childhood friend, Jetson Rosenbaum, said he knew Cole for almost his whole life.
We grew up together. All of our parents played cowboy polo. So from the time we were just little kids, we'd hang out in the summers, weekends, running around, raising all sorts of trouble anywhere we could, and went to school together. Always just been really close friends.
Rosenbaum said he was sitting on the field near the casket with family, relatives, and other close friends. The service began with 4 speakers chosen by the family, then eulogies by other friends and loved ones. Rosenbaum said Cole tried hard in everything he did.
Growing up, even until this last year, we'd always go out, play football, basketball. He was uber competitive, and so just all the times we'd just be playing games and get super into it, but those were always fun.
Schwartz was killed in a gun accident last Sunday and is survived by his mother, his father, and sister. He was 19. U.S. Forest Service Chief Tom Tidwell says logging in Montana could be tripled over current levels, and it's important to significantly increase forest restoration work. Tidwell was before the Senate Appropriations Interior Subcommittee last week, lobbying for nearly $5 billion budget in fiscal year 2016. Montana's 2 senators, Democrat John Tester and Republican Steve Daines, questioned Tidwell on goals for Montana, pushing for increases in timber production to sawmills and other wood products. Tidwell says 300 million board feet is a reasonable goal for logging in Montana. 22-year-old Cole Francisco was arrested Friday for a series of incidents in which he's accused of exposing himself to school children at his Justice Court appearance Friday. Missoula County Attorney Kirsten Pabst explained why she requested that Francisco's bail be set at $125,000.
This case involves 5 different counts aimed at girls between the ages of 11 and 15. It involves him loitering around bus stops and middle schools, targeting these young victims. Additionally, Mr. Francisco is currently on probation for twice masturbating outside a woman's home while looking in on her.
Pabst also informed Judge Karen Orzek that Francisco was already on probation for a similar offense out of state.
He has a conviction out of the state of California for weapons violations, but those weapons also involve some strange similar behavior in which he snuck into a dormitory and was loitering in the bathroom, watching girls while he had a weapon concealed in his backpack. It was a .44 caliber pistol.
Judge Orzek placed Francisco, a registered University of Montana student, back in jail on a $125,000 bond and placed restrictions upon release that would prohibit him from returning to campus as a student in the future. A Livingston man serving a 50-year prison term for shooting at 2 people in Bozeman back in 2012 is asking for a new sentencing hearing. Nathaniel John Budd's petition argues that the attorney who represented him during his conviction was ineffective. A fire in the 1100 block of Idaho Street that spread from a fire pit to several outbuildings, a car and a motorhome Friday evening, sent a Missoula homeowner to St. Patrick Hospital in serious condition. Assistant Chief Jeff Brandt with the Missoula City Fire Department said the incident was called in a few minutes after 6 Friday and resulted in plumes of thick, dark smoke.
The owner was burning some material in about a 3-foot fire ring and then went inside, possibly to get something to eat. And when he came back out, that fire had spread to a couple outbuildings nearby.
Brandt said the fire spread still further while the homeowner injured himself attempting to put it out.
That had spread into a car that was nearby. I believe it spread to the back of his pickup. Flames were high enough that it severed a power line, and that came down and was active.
Brandt said the homeowner suffered burns to his hands and arms, as well as significant smoke inhalation, and was taken to St. Patrick Hospital, where he was last reported in serious condition on Friday evening. The legislature has passed a measure to update Montana's indecent exposure law to include electronic transmission of images. On 2 unanimous votes, the Senate passed Senate Bill 60 last week. The proposal would prohibit people from exposing genitals or intimate parts to people who do not want to see them by any means, including electronic communication. A typical conviction carries a fine of up to $500. Exposing to a minor carries at least 4 years in prison and a fine of up to $50,000. A brutal beating of a Missoula teenager near Sentinel High School early Thursday morning has resulted in a police investigation that's turned up few leads so far. Police Public Information Officer Travis Welsh has more.
We received a report from the assistant principal, talked with a group of students who had reported a fellow student that had been beaten up near the intersection of Sussex and Central off of Bow Street near a city park. The male had significant facial injuries and may have been unconscious at one point.
The 16-year-old victim had to be taken to a hospital for treatment. It's still unclear who beat him up and why the incident occurred.
And we are currently trying to discover what exactly happened. And we're seeking out any witnesses that could tell us anything about this, and we'd ask them to call Detective Bob Frankie at the police department. We don't have any information on suspects at this point.
Welsh said detectives were still unable to confirm if one or more individual was involved in that beating. Newstalk time is 6:10.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Cloudy to mostly cloudy skies today with areas of rain. High temperatures will top out in the low 50s. Winds will be breezy out of the southeast at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Showers this evening as well. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.